The 2022 golf season is nearly done. We have 2023 to look forward to, and honestly, nobody knows what to expect. It'll either be the most entertaining golf year ever, or it'll be a raging dumpster fire. Like everybody else, star Cam Smith is also hoping, and what he wants is LIV, but with an Australian accent. So today, let's look at how much LIV he wants in his home country. First up, Cam Smith and Queensland. Around here, we respect Smith's mullet. It's brave, it's unique, but something about that mullet in America just fell off. Or maybe we've realized just now that he stepped foot in his natural habitat after 3 long years. Blame COVID for that. The world's #3 golfer in Brisbane felt and looked at home. Oh wait, he's playing at the Royal Queensland alongside Adam Scott. Listen, the US PGA has its bans and sanctions, but down under, things are different. The Australian PGA has welcomed him, and now he's playing in his home state. A few days ago, he took the time out for a little chit-chat, and it looks like the Australian Tour events in Brisbane aren't enough for the Open champion winner. He wants his new circuit to make its way into the city he was born in. Smith says if he had a say, he would set a Brisbane event for the LIV League in 2023. For now, the Australian city that'll host a LIV event has already been decided and announced, Adelaide. But his hope for a home event isn't bigger than his excitement for more golf in Australia. He said he's beyond happy and can't wait for LIV to step foot in Adelaide next April. Along with it, he hopes Brisbane will also get the chance sometime in the future. Following up, why can't Brisbane host? So, if Adelaide can spice things up in the Gulf War by hosting a LIV event, why can't Brisbane? Do you know what makes Queensland an overall spicy choice for welcoming LIV? It's home to both Cam Smith and Greg Norman. Certainly, Queensland is the cradle of the LIV's most ruthless members. However, the state has already made some sort of commitment to the PGA. The city of Brisbane hosts none other than the PGA Championship, which is co-sanctioned by the European or the DP Tour, which makes it a PGA thing. So yeah, both PGA and LIV won't be held in the same state. It looks like Cam Smith will have to wait quite a while before this becomes a thing, because, for now, both sides in this feud look like they're going to choose violence for a while. Next up, Smith's reputation in his home country. Joining a golf circuit that the Saudi PIF fuels has its consequences, and most of the players who've jumped ship have had to face them. But there's something these players face much worse than the bans and loss of sponsors they've had to face: the loss of their reputation and constant fingers raised about their morals. Of course, that cool Aussie lad vibe wasn't enough to save Cam Smith from the same fate. But you know what's interesting? The 29-year-old doesn't seem to have a reputation problem in his home country. Aussies love him as they've always loved him. LIV doesn't change anything for them. It makes one wonder if the reputations are as fragile as the PGA narrative makes them sound. Smith was touched by his warm welcome back home, and of course, having the claret jug with him was a bonus. He said people's reaction to the claret jug has been very special to him. His warm welcome has given him the confidence that Australia will also receive the LIV Golf well. He said LIV will be very popular in Adelaide in 2023 because the people there are starved for golf. And that's not it. He says it's not even about where the breakaway league chooses to expand in Australia, because the Aussies will welcome them everywhere. And we'll be honest here, we think he's right. Even though he has a defector status now, the tickets for Royal Queensland were all sold pretty fast. If they're chill with livers, they'll probably be with the LIV itself too. Coming up, Norman on LIV in Australia. Cam Smith isn't the only one who thinks Aussies are starved for golf. Sure, expanding his new league for 2023 was Greg Norman's goal, but there's hardly anything he'd want as much as to have his home country host a LIV event. Besides maybe starring in Jay Monahan's nightmare musicals, he's been talking about LIV in Australia since the Saudi-backed league debuted, and now he'll finally have his league's moment next year on the golf course he designed where he made his pro golf debut. That's poetic or satanic depending on which side you're on. But why does he want it so bad? Besides the obvious, that's where he's from, he also thinks that Australia gets wronged by the PGA and the world of golf. According to him, the President's Cup going there every 8 years isn't enough. The way he sees it, it only extracts all the resources from the country, leaving it with little to no benefit or exposure. While the patriot in him wants to see the mainstream golf in his country, the businessman in him wants to use the neglected market. This subject is what Norman and Smith have bonded over and become such close friends. The LIV CEO thanked his mulleted soldier for being as invested in bringing LIV home as he was. Smith had a big role in this too. Moving on, what else both of them want from Australia? For Cam Smith, it makes sense to want more golf in Australia because this way he gets to stay at home. At PGA, this was nearly impossible, so he had to move to Florida. With his new golf circuit bringing golf to him, he won't have to travel all that much. But that's not the entire story. As Norman said in his recent press conference, Smith's interest in building an all-Australian LIV franchise made him work hard toward this expansion plan. Thanks to Norman's genius business strategy, he has a sizable stake in this franchise and fellow Aussie Mark Leishman. Norman, on the other hand, says he wants competition. He brought up how the PGA Tour has had to respond to the threat posed by LIV in the form form of event expansions, higher purses, and a huge PIP award. He says he's proud that his league inspired this response. He calls this competition done right, and he thinks LIV in Australia could bring more of this if the PGA wants healthy competition. Oh, and he wants Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods to thank the Saudi-backed league, because how else would the tour bring about all these positive changes? Okay, there goes the already microscopic possibility of peace. There you go. 2023 will be the year of more top players joining LIV. Don't look at us, Norman said it, and a year of a $38 million Australian LIV tournament. Now let's talk about Cam Smith's very early LIV days. First off, Rory McIlroy tried his best. Find yourself someone as loyal to you as Rory McIlroy is to the PGA Tour. Do you want to know how loyal he is? He called Cam Smith only days after the Aussie defeated him at the Open Championship, and losing the claret jug stings enough on its own. Imagine losing it to someone rumored to be a traitor to the tour. So McIlroy called him and convinced him to stay at the tour. The Open champion said nothing was signed at this point, but it was clear that he was inclining toward the Saudi-backed league, and so Rory tried his luck. Cam said Rory really wanted him to stay. Here's how he felt about joining the controversial LIV League. If you don't know why the LIV League is controversial, who kidnapped you and how long have you been locked in their basement? The source of LIV's money, the Saudi PIF, is questionable, and all the defectors have been criticized for accepting it. Smith said he was worried too. He said he didn't sleep well for a few months because he was worried about what everyone else would think about his decision. As he puts it, he's always the person who goes by the rules, and being the one breaking them was difficult for him. But he's also one of the players who've admitted money was a big factor. So yeah, it was a career move he felt he had to make. Lastly, what made him choose LIV? We're coming full circle. It was because of Australia. Ultimately, he decided based on what each circuit was planning to bring to his home country. This is where Monahan didn't have much to boast of, and Norman had big plans that Smith loved. And here we are. Those big plans are in action already. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think next will be a successful season for LIV? And what must the PGA do now to counter LIV's expansion in Australia? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.
You know, a chance and got within like 3. Obviously not the way you want to finish, but played well.
Unfortunately, they were all, most of them were for pars and a couple for bogeys here and there.
And you had no window. It must have been a small window. That shot probably kept your chances alive.
Are you good? You can hear us and everything?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
This 372 just short of the crosswalk.
Wasting no time.
You ready?
Yeah. Hey Cam, just curious, I mean, since